The Bitcoin 4-year cycle suggests that we're about to put in a cycle top. The timing, as you can see on the screen, is exactly lining up for a cycle top right now. So we need to be discovering what's going to be happening next. We need to be going through all the different charts that I have prepared for you guys to be determining when are we going to be topping, what's going to be happening next, because right now we're cutting it close. Time is actually running out. Looking at this fractal over here, we can see that that is exactly the case. So we need to be talking about what's going to be happening next. And I'm also going to be covering Ethereum. I'm going to be covering what's going to be happening in that longer time frame. Are we going to be seeing inflows from Bitcoin in towards Ethereum? What's going to be happening with the altcoin season? I'm going to be covering all of this in extreme detail. So make sure to be watching till the end, and let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight away into this banger. So in that short term, we can see that Bitcoin has been perfectly bouncing from this level of support. We're actually in and around all-time highs right now since we've been bouncing from this level. And this is where I've been flipping bullish, which is looking good right now. So we can see that right now we're actually testing another level of support. So if we can hold this level of support right now, I do think that Bitcoin can have moves towards the upside. But at the minute, we're in an uptrend and it's higher highs and higher lows. So there's no reason that we should be getting too bearish. But if you look carefully, we can see that we had some diagonal resistance here and we're breaking back inside of the range. So it is possible that Bitcoin can actually come in towards the next support level at 117k before we actually get a bounce. But of course, if we can actually hold this horizontal level of support right now that we're on in the short term, then of course Bitcoin can actually find some moves towards the upside. So that's the picture for Bitcoin right now. You know, you have your support at 117k, or you have the support level that you're actually holding right now. So that's the short-term picture for Bitcoin. So looking at the seasonality, of course, we can see that Bitcoin is actually trading about 7% in the green. And of course, this actually means that Bitcoin can actually continue towards the upside, because we can see that the average is 20% and we're only 7% up so far. And typically, especially in the post-halving years, we get double-digit gains for Bitcoin in October. And of course, in November, we have an average of 46%. So of course, this actually indicates that Bitcoin can actually continue towards the upside very, very soon. And in towards Q4, we're going to be moving towards the upside because, you know, in October, as you can see by this fractal, Bitcoin always moves towards the upside once October starts, and we don't typically see negative price action. And of course, in Q4, so throughout November and December, the actual price action is typically strong for Bitcoin. We typically see moves towards the upside. So, of course, I'm not going to be fading this. I still think that we're still bullish right now. You know, we can come to lower levels of support in the short term, but in that longer time frame, we're still bullish because the seasonality suggests that, you know, we're going to be having a massive, massive green month and, of course, a massive, massive green Q4. So, with that being said, we can actually look at price targets for Bitcoin, and the first price target that actually comes to mind is the Fibonacci we're trading at right now at 122k. But if you look carefully, you can see that we actually closed a weekly candle above this Fibonacci, which unlocks the next one, which is at 155k. So previously we actually topped out at the 1.65, which is actually this Fibonacci, which is the orange one, and you can see over here we had a lot of resistance at the 2 Fibonacci. So the next one is going to be the 2618, and this is 155k. So if Bitcoin can actually close this weekly candle green, then it's very likely that we can actually start our trajectory towards 155k, and we can continue Q4 extremely green. So this is one thing that I'm going to be looking at, and one price target that I have in mind. That's the 155k level, looking at this Fibonacci. And of course, another reason to have your biases bullish is the fact that gold is actually soaring and it's actually hitting all-time highs after all-time highs. And right now it's actually performing one of the strongest it's actually performed in history. And Bitcoin tends to lag gold. So we can see that every time we have a choppy September and a choppy August, Bitcoin actually tends to catch up after. So when gold is going parabolic in the summer, Bitcoin sometimes lags, and then after, Bitcoin actually tends to catch up. But we can see right now that this was the same thing that played out. Bitcoin was choppy whilst gold was actually moving parabolic, and it's very likely after we actually clear our all-time highs decisively, we can actually catch up to gold. Now looking at the Bitcoin dominance, we can see that we're bouncing off of this horizontal support level exactly like we've been talking about on the channel. I said that it's likely that as Bitcoin puts in all-time highs, we can see the Bitcoin dominance bounce, but the next thing to be watching is going to be a lower high and a move towards the downside where altcoins are going to be moving parabolic. And this is due to the fact that we've actually seen Bitcoin dominance have weak price action in the post-halving years every single time. And we can see right now that this is starting to happen already. We've rejected off of this trend line, and Bitcoin dominance looks like it's topped for the cycle, and it's likely to come towards the downside. And typically we don't really get that much bounces once Bitcoin dominance tops. It's usually violent moves towards the downside. So I do think that this bounce is going to be short-lived, and we're going to be continuing the move towards the downside very soon. So if you're enjoying the analysis and you want to be trading for yourself, make sure to click that first link down below for WEEX. WEEX is offering a 25% discount on your trading fees if you sign up, and a massive 20% deposit bonus. So make sure to be signing up. This is going to be a massive deposit bonus. This is free money to be trading with if you're going to be signing up with that first link down below, and then you can be claiming that 20% deposit bonus on anything you actually put onto the exchange, and you could be using that to be trading for yourself. So if Bitcoin dominance actually comes towards the downside, it's likely we're going to be seeing Ethereum versus Bitcoin actually move towards the upside. So if Ethereum versus Bitcoin actually moves towards the upside, then of course we're going to be having a lot of inflows in towards Ethereum as opposed to Bitcoin. So we may see Bitcoin actually range in the top and actually not move too further towards the upside after it's topped, and we're going to be seeing the Ethereum catch-up trade. But right now, Ethereum is actually moving towards the next support level at 4.3. And that's going to be a beautiful zone to be actually accumulating Ethereum. But right now, we're actually already confirmed the bottom, I think, in my opinion, since we've had a shakeout towards the downside over there already. So I think that this is going to be a higher low for Ethereum as we're pulling back before we actually move towards the upside. And if we bounce here at the mid-range, that is fine. But I think 4.3 is going to be a beautiful level for Ethereum to be moving towards the upside after creating a higher low. And right now you can see that this bull flag pattern that I talked about on the previous video is still playing out. Ethereum is actually still in this bull flag and it's not been invalidated yet. So of course, it's likely that if we can get a breakout and a daily candle close, like I mentioned, outside of this trend line, then it's very, very possible for Ethereum to be moving towards its target at 6,500. But in that longer time frame, just like I mentioned when we were first breaking out in towards new all-time highs, I did say that it's likely Ethereum consolidates just below the all-time high, and if we do see consolidation below the all-time high, it is very likely that once we do break out, it's going to be explosive and we're going to be moving towards the upside. And that's exactly what's happened so far. So that's actually looking quite good, since this is a sign of strength in my opinion, since we haven't been broken below this massive resistance that's now turning into support. So that's actually looking quite good, and we can see that that support level now is actually supporting this chart pattern, which is a right angled descend and broadening wedge that has a nice pattern at 6,300 for Ethereum. So that's actually looking quite good. So the chart was on log, but if I put it on a normal chart, you can see the price target at 6,400 over there for Ethereum. So that's actually looking very, very good. And of course, on a monthly time frame, this is the third month in a row now that we're having a bullish green histogram for the MACD, and the EMAs are still angled up and they're crossed. So of course, this indicates that the strength in Ethereum is still there. We're still going to be seeing inflows for Ethereum. We're still going to be seeing a move towards the upside very soon. And of course, once it first crosses, the moves aren't always parabolic, but once we actually continue to see green histogram ticks, we're going to be seeing the moves towards the upside, just like we have seen previously where, you know, we had massive moves towards the upside. So on that longer time frame, this V bottom I think is going to be playing out, and we're going to be seeing Ethereum move towards the upside. And of course, we've actually retested the V bottom neckline already, so it's likely that now we're going to be seeing a move towards the upside for Ethereum, and things are going to be going parabolic. And as for my Ethereum trades, I'm still in my Ethereum trades right now, so I still got this buy that I got just below 4.3, and I do think that if Ethereum actually continues towards the downside, I am going to be looking to add to my trade. You can also see on WEEX, looking at that bull flag, I did enter a trade recently and it's only about 8% down so far, which is actually not too bad because I do want to add to this trade. So I'm actually holding this one, and I do think that at 4.3 is going to be a good level to be adding to Ethereum. So that's going to be something I'm going to be watching. But I do think that if we're lucky enough to get that, that's going to be the bottom for Ethereum, since that's going to be confirming a higher low and we can be moving towards the upside. But right now, I'm still in my Ethereum trades and I'm still holding strong. And of course, I am trading on WEEX, so make sure to be trading on WEEX if you want to be claiming that massive deposit bonus also. And of course, you can be getting that $300 once you do sign up. So make sure to be getting that. And of course, that 25% fee discount on your trades are going to be massive in the long term. So I do suggest using an exchange like WEEX that will be saving you on the fees. But yeah, that'll be it for me. Make sure to be following me on X to be staying up to date with all my updates. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a blessed rest of your day. Peace, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.